की जय, श्री कृपालु धाम की जय। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे। Divine service. The subject of Bhagawan, God, this universe. All around the world, there are different methodologies, ways in which to include God in our life. And we know that here with our Shri Maharaj Ji, Jagadguru, Shri Maharaj Ji Maharaj, the best of the Jagadgurus, the best what the world teaches, he expresses that, quoting from the Vedas, Gita, Ramayana, BHAGAWAN, and so on. No matter what you do in the world, in the name of devotion, the one thing that 99.9% of people do not understand is the mind isn't devoted to the mind. When we look at all the different ways that people do it, they go on pilgrimages around the 4 months. They do all kinds of incantations, they do yajna, fire ceremonies. They go to their local priest so that the priest can bless their child because the child is sick, and so on. And their faith, their Shraddha, their Vishwas, their belief is commensurate with what they understand and what they do not understand. But Shri Maharaj Ji says this is in terms of utilizing your senses, seeing the deity, hearing the chanting, physically being present in a mandir, putting auspicious items into a fire, with the proper mantra being spoken by the pujari and so on. They are just worldly deeds, purely worldly deeds, unless your mind is absorbed with devotional loving feelings of your Ishtadeva. And our Shri Maharaj Ji explains, Radha Krishna, they are the supreme forms. From them, all Ishtadeva animals are present. They come from Shri Krishna himself. So we hear this. The mind must be, but we have yet to fully understand the import of it, the absolute essentiality of placing your mind on Radha Krishna and Guru. And we come up with all sorts of reasons why we cannot do it in this present moment. We're all busy. I have things I need to do. And so, from childhood through youth, through adulthood, through middle age, through old age, we have reasons why I cannot. Why? Because it seems so hard to put our mind on Sri Krishna. We invest a few minutes in a day. We say, I know the philosophy. I've heard it from Shri Maharaj Ji. Do Roopdhyan, take the name of Radha. But when I sit down to do this, my mind hijacks me. I start thinking in this direction, and before I know it, I'm thinking of all sorts of things other than where I should be with my mind, the true devotee. My senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, they are supporting the mind. On their own, the senses are just, I taste that, I see that, I hear that. If it's not on Radha Krishna, then it is 100% on Maya. And Maya is graded by Sattvic, Rajas, Tamas, the qualities of the mind. And whether it's Sattvic or Rajas or Tamas, the outcome is bondage. Chaitaha kalvasya bandhaye muktaye chatanomatam. Your mind will either bind you to the world or take you to Bhagawan, Radha Krishna, God. So our intentions start off well. I've heard the philosophy, I know it. One I had a conversation with someone. I do Zoom sessions through the week, and one of these sessions is Q&A. So one person said to me, I have a big screen TV and I can see all the faces there, and I say, yes, what's your question? The person said, Swamiji, because you ask me every session, this session once a week, you ask, anybody got any questions? And I think to myself, well, you know, I have questions, but I find I get the answers. I've heard Shri Maharaj Ji's philosophy. I understand the principles of what I'm supposed to do. So when you ask for a question, I find my mind saying, but you know the answer. So don't bother to ask the question. So I ran with that comment in this Q&A session. I asked, if this is the case, if you are providing the answers that you say are based on Shri Maharaj's teaching, and you have understood, tell me out of the 24-hour clock that makes up a day and a night, give me the lowdown on how much Roopdhyan, quality meditating on the form of Radha Krishna and Guru. Tell me how much time in that clock do you actually spend in Upasana, coming close to Radha Krishna, feeling agitated that you can't see their divine form, that you can't keep the prana, your life's breath, within your body. Tell me, how much time? And as expected, I got a blank look back at me. So I said, how can you say, I understand, I know? This is not a game. This life is very, very serious. Even in a worldly sense, as I have said to you in the past, I'm sure, it's one of my go-tos. Do you get in the car, shut your eyes, turn it on, and just drive out into the traffic? I came here with my brother Jagadguru today. I took a quick peek. Is his eyes, are they open? I took a Grab taxi ride today as a kind of an elderly gentleman, and this is how he drove. They go, and I thought, is he going to die? Can he see? I'm in the back seat. What the hell is he doing? Who? Jackson's eyes were open. Your eyes are open when you go anywhere because you don't want to hit anything. You don't want to be hit by anything. That's how serious life is. What to speak of Maya and Yog Maya, the divine. So I said, tell me, how much importance do you put in it? And I could tell by the response, which was silence, that you are paying lip service. You've heard the words. They've come in one ear and they've dropped out the other ear. Because we are not agitated to find Radha Krishna. Instead, we comfortably say, all right, tomorrow's another day. I'll get serious tomorrow. I have things to do. And Maharaj explains, you will never empty the bucket of things to do. It's a magic bucket. I'm going to get these things done today, and when you get up in the morning, you think, I've got an empty bucket. And you look, and there's stuff in there. All right, I'll get rid of it, I'll do these things. And then Maragai, you're dead. Your time's up. Yamraj comes along, Paramatma takes a look at your schedule, because every thought has a consequence. Every thought either binds you, two categories, Cheta, Kalwa, Bandhaye or Muktaye. You're either heading towards Bhagawan, or you're binding yourself even more so in this material realm, Maya. So we come back to the original point. How? Many years ago, I heard Maharaj Ji give the example of King Janak. He was sitting with students around him, listening to their guru. And the students were getting jealous that Janak had prime position, right up, sitting in the middle, right in front of the feet of the guru. And the guru could tell that they're thinking, he's a king. He's a man of importance. That's why he gets that prime position. Jealousy, our minds, scary stuff, scary. So the guru decided, this is the example Maharaj is giving. You can read it in Shastra. That the guru arranged for a fire. And said there's a fire, I can't remember the detail exactly. Let's say there's a fire in the living quarters of your wall. This is what the guru said, and all except Janak got up and ran to get their loincloths, their whatever it was that was important, and they ran to save it. But Janak didn't move. Then, when they came back, the guru upped the ante. Messenger came and said, Guruji, King Janak's palace is on fire, and his wives are dying. They are being burnt to death. Never has there been such calamity before. And everybody immediately turned to each other, what to do, Guru? As you can imagine, what would you do? King Janak sat there, calm, peaceful, and did not move. When the Guru said, why aren't you going like everybody else? He said, I don't want to be interrupted. Please, I want to hear your words. They are nectar to me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm listening to you and you alone. We hear that, as I did all these years ago, and I thought, yeah. You know, let's say there's a fire downstairs and the message comes up. We'll all sit here like Janak and go, no, shanti, shanti, shanti. The flames start coming up over the veranda. Ah, shanti, shanti, shanti. Ah! Off you go. Is this possible? Is it possible? Or is it just the scripture grandstanding? Writing the impossible and saying, now you have to do that. Let's look at Arjuna. In our ashram, there is a wonderful big sculpture of Arjuna having a discussion with Shri Krishna on the chariot. When you go for a walk in the morning, you can't help but walk past it like this. And what is he being told? He's between the two armies. Havoc is impending. What is he told? Put your mind in me. Love me. Attach yourself to me only. Think of me and fight the war. You will not be held accountable for anything, nothing, if you can do this on my behalf. And we know he challenged Sri Krishna about, if I do this, if I do that, what happens, what happens, what happens, what happens. Sri Krishna gives the answer, you'll go there, you go there, you go there, depending on whether it's sattvic, rajas, or tamas. Or, if you do it all for me, I will take complete responsibility for it. Complete. And we hear that and we go, that sounds good. So King Janak and his peacefulness and Arjuna and a war. How can these personalities do that? How is it possible? So Shri Maharaj Ji, he explains, the day you accept that Bhagawan is actually living in your heart, the Guru is within your heart, the day you accept this, that Radha Krishna are in their name, and you meditate on them and you do all your actions for them, then you become like Janak. Right now, we feel completely responsible for what we do. And we are fearful that if we don't do that which is our responsibility, there'll be havoc. Things will fall apart. So we tell ourselves, I need to do this, I need to do that. And it's true. We do need to be active. We do need to utilize our intelligence. But Shri Maharaj is explaining if you do it for Radha Krishna and Guru, the same deeds, but you do it for them, then everything is okay. But this Roopdhyan, Shri Maharaj explains it in two parts. One is union, Milan, union, and one is Vira, separation. First, you practice meeting. You sit alone in a space where you are not being interrupted, and you begin the practice. You meditate on Krishna, on Radha, you hear the chanting, you create the imagery in your mind, and here Maharaj goes to great lengths to explain you have the freedom. Is he a young Krishna? Is he 16 years of age? And like this he explains, you should begin the process. Radhe, Radhe, Sham, Shama. Shama, Sham, Krishna Govind. Radhe, Govind, as you like. And you start. And there's an axiom explains worldly life begins in sweetness and ends in bitterness, and spiritual life begins in bitterness and ends in sweetness. So you sit there quietly, and Maharaj said, sit up, don't lie on your bed on the pillow and think I'll do Roopdhyan and Radha breathing there because you'll just fall asleep. So you say, I am going to practice Radhe, Radhe, and you have to build a relationship with them. And you cannot build a relationship on nothing. You can't love nothing. The reason why you say, oh, my child, my wife, my husband, my mum, my dad, is because you have firmly established right from the get-go, oh, mum, dad, sibling, brother, sister, and you try in your own way. You think of them, whether you get your visualization right or wrong, you know my relationship is with them. So as Shri Maharaj Ji explains, first you sit quietly in your room and you take any image and you bring it to life. You can't just keep it like this. How boring. Imagine coming home and your wife sitting there like, you say, hello, darling. What's for dinner? Did you have a good day? Are you wanting to embrace me like this? You want to go to the movies? Are you there? pictures of Radha Krishna Murti, whether it's stone or wood or gold, whatever the Murti is made out of, and you pranam, you look up at Krishna. This is not Roopdhyan. It is not. So you have to bring them alive. And so Shri Maharaj Ji, there's a new booklet out called Meditation, Powerful Meditation. And Shri Maharaj Ji says, bring them to life. See Radha, Krishna's arms open and smiling at you and saying, come into my embrace. Hear the flute of Krishna, hear the sweet voice of Radha. And there's no limitation on what you do. I was once talking in this vein many years ago back in Australia. An ISKCON devotee came. I happened to own in those days a 250 twin Kawasaki motorbike. That's how I got around the city. So in my own Govindanand style, I was talking about making your Roopdhyan real. So I'm on my motorbike and Radha's sitting on the back and she's put her arms around my waist and we're whizzing around the city. Wow, blimey. You should have heard the feedback I got down the track a few months from ISKCON people. Do you know he said this? I mentioned I had a little tiny catamaran, a yacht. It turned into a great big super yacht. By the Chinese whisper. You know what I mean by that. You start something here, by the time it goes through 20 people, it comes back, it's nothing to do with the truth. So the point is about Roopdhyan is you have to make it real. And do not pull back on this process. Don't be scared. The only time I really feel my sadhana is when I say I'm not going to accept anything less than seeing them in an active scenario where Radha and Krishna are holding hands and they're walking towards the river Yamuna, where a whole host of gopis hear Sri Krishna and Radha going to the river, and they stop whatever household chores they are doing, and they charge off to the Yamuna River. Once you get into that process, what happens? Well, you're telling the story. There's no Leela that they have not performed. Do they go in the river? Do they sit on the banks? Do they have a picnic? Does Krishna brush Radha's hair? You've all seen that one where Radha's looking at herself in the mirror, but she's seeing the face of Krishna as he's combing her hair. What do you get up to? If it's... This is not devotion. And you can't sustain this either. You'll get so bored so quickly that your mind will say, I'm not sticking around here. Imagine going into a movie house and the projector jams and the heroes, how long are you going to sit in the auditorium and look at the screen just still? Nothing happening. You get up and leave, go buy an ice cream. And if your meditation is of the same vein, nothing is happening except you can't progress. So, this is the essence. Your mind is the devotee, you are visualizing, and then Maharaj Ji adds, see yourself as a gopi. Well, I like that. Sometimes I have a conversation, why do you like that? No, I want to be a gopi, not a grey beard. That's a bit horrible. But see yourself as a 15, 16-year-old, 13-year-old gopi, and participate in the Leela? If you tell anyone what I'm saying today, and they have no interest in Bhagawan whatsoever, they have no knowledge on these things whatsoever, they'll think you come from a cuckoo land. But Maharaj Ji has explained it, and he's explained it so deeply that he's now said, it's your turn. I've brought all the knowledge. The Guru is before you. You've been blessed with the human body, you've been blessed with the Gyan, Tattva Gyan, the knowledge. You've been blessed with the association, the Satsanga. There are countless chants and paths and talks and writings. Now it's up to you. And each 24-hour block, as I asked that gentleman, how much did you do? If you ask yourself honestly at the end of every day, as your life is running out, as your energy starts to dissipate, as grey starts to appear, sorry for the grey-bearded ones and grey-haired ones, but it's no joke anymore. It's not a joke. Once Maharaj Ji said in a talk, which was pretty, he said, you're just mosquitoes. He's talking to the satsang, and he said, you're just mosquitoes. Meaning, there are uncountable insects, there are uncountable animals, there are uncountable plants, there are uncountable celestial citizens, uncountable citizens of Narakloka, the lower regions. 8.4 million species, and the human form is one of all of these 8.4 million. And this is our future. You don't need a crystal ball to know. At some point, I'm going to lose the human form. And then I'm off on some sojourn through all these life forms, waiting to get the human body back. So it is very serious. And to sit there and think, I have the luxury of time, I have enough that I can live comfortably, I don't have to get stressed over these things, I can recreate, I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. You're fooling yourselves completely. So Maharaj Ji says, visualize, see yourself in the form of the gopi, and get to it. Because God realization, Bhagavat Bhakti, is dependent on a pure heart and mind. You cannot call God on your own. The Guru is necessary. We know this. This is a deep lecture in itself. But the Guru can't act if you don't give permission. If you don't, for example, turn on the switch at the powerhouse, no matter how beautiful your home is, no matter about all the special lightings and electronic gadgets, if it's not connected to the powerhouse, nothing will work. Nothing will work. And if you are not connected to Radha Krishna through devotional feelings, you are not connected to the powerhouse. Your spiritual power there remains dormant, infantile, a seedling. It does not grow. So Roopdhyan, Radha breathing, meditating on the Leelas, it's how it has to be done. You see people going to mandirs, etc., and when they go in there, the parents tell people, don't swear, behave yourself. If you need to go to the toilet, you've got to go and find a toilet outside. Don't you do anything naughty and embarrass me. This is God's house. And outside of the mandir, where's God? He's only in the mandir, nowhere else. Prabhu Vyapaka Sarvatra Samanam. Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. Therefore, the union, that is Milan, where you sit quietly, where you don't drift off to sleep, and you start the process. You can change the leela in the twinkling of an eye. You can go from the scenario of approaching the Yamuna River to Shri Krishna with the cows in the fields, to the gopis running and taking flowers and making a daisy chain, and coming in the middle of his day with the cows and the boyfriends and putting this daisy chain around Shri Krishna's head, and all the cowherd boys cheering and laughing at Krishna and the gopis swooning. How? What is it you can't do? But if you say, I am not going to do that, then you are not a devotee. Instead, you are an atheist. It means I don't have faith in Guru's words. I don't have faith that God lives in my heart. I don't have faith that I can realize Him first. I'm just doing this because my parents told me and their grandparents told my parents. Or, you know, I do go to the ashram once a year or something like this for 2 or 3 days. Or I come to Radha Kunj and I can manage to come twice a week. And, you know, out of that 45 minutes, you know, 20 minutes is arti, and then we go out and have something to eat, and then we talk about matters of politics and sport. And then if someone's just been to the ashram will say, how was it? And I go, okay. Look, I don't wish to sound disrespectful to any of us. I put myself in this frame. But Uttishchata Jagrat Priyandi Bhodhata, awake, arise, seek the company of the saint. Adau Shraddha Tathasadu Sangota Bhajanat Kriyaha. Hear what he has to say, contemplate on what he said, and do it according to how he says it. And if there's nothing, there's no alternative to this. But in this listening, contemplating, and putting it into effect, you have such freedom. There's no leela you can't meditate on. And the more you meditate, the more the heart and mind becomes pure. And the more it becomes pure, then the Guru can empower you. The power starts to build. Tears come naturally. And then we move into the second part. This is viraha, separation meditation, where you are saying, well, look, I've been doing all, as Maharaj Ji asks, I've been watching, I've been with you, and I've heard your flute, and I've looked into your eyes, and I've pressed your feet. I've done this, I've done that. Why are you not coming? You are Patita Pawan, aren't you? And I know that I've done uncountable paths. I've been born again and again and again and again. These parents, this sister, that brother, this body, that body. There's nothing I haven't done. So I am guilty. I'm not hiding from that fact. I know it. But you are the one who graces. Where are you? And Maharaji said, this part of your meditation, you get to a point where you feel like you will expire, your prana, your life's breath will finish if you don't come. Imagine that. Again, if we look at that criteria and you look at your life and you say, can I get through the day that I'm feeling agitated? Why haven't you come to me? If the answer is no, no point beating yourself up. I mean, you go outside and see a satsangi leaning against a concrete lamppost and you say, what are you doing? I'm trying to rearrange my brain cells. I'm so annoyed with myself. This won't work either. You've got one mind. You can't get angry in such a way that you've got no more peace. You have to have loving faith. And so now, years later, when I hear about King Janak sitting before his Guru, and there's a fire, and there's this, and there's that, and he's so peaceful, so calm, so immersed, like Arjuna in Krishna. Whatever you say, if you haven't said, go and see how your queens are, I'm not moving. Could you imagine such peace? And you saying, what's the worst that can happen? I lose my life in savor of my Guru. You know the story where the student says to Lord Buddha, I want to teach your philosophy. Buddha said, people will abuse you if you do this seva. Oh, they're only words. At least they haven't beaten me. Or what if they do beat you? Oh, what's that? I get a few bruises, this and that. At least they haven't killed me. And what if they do kill you? Then I would say, well, at least I'm doing my seva for you. All right, you can do this. So imagine getting to a point where you say, it's in his hands. You can't just say it's in your hands and I'm going to go and do what I want, as I want, how I want, but you actually mean it. This is the heart of what, this is what it's all about. Maharaj Ji explains it is so, so simple. But you have to decide to do it. Try it. I've been trying it. Go deeper. I am fond these days of saying to people, take 5 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 times in a day, 5 minutes, and find a place where you can sit cross-legged in a good position, state, and reflect for 5 minutes on Radhe Nam, on the form of Radha Krishna and Guru, on the purpose of your life, what it is you're truly looking for, on the impermanence of the human body, the impermanence of your possessions and achievements. And the only thing that goes with you are the impressions on your mind, the way you have thought, called samskar. Reflect on these things. Remind yourself why you are here and what it is you're supposed to achieve. When the 5 minutes is up, get up, go about and do your thing. And then again, maybe 2 or 3 hours later, repeat. And repeat. And then if you get in the habit, and this is how Maharaj Ji finishes his talks in such a sweet way. If you get into the habit of associating the name of Radha with Radha and feeling their divine presence in front of you, seeing them in any particular leela as you choose, seeing yourself as the devotee, requesting sometimes, oh, please embrace me, at other times, where are you, why won't you come to me? Practice this. Otherwise, what's the use? What are you doing? I'm lining up to die. Could you be more pessimistic about yourself than such a statement? So, the Roopdhyan is about thinking on them with loving feelings. And then you add, I serve you for your happiness, for you are my parikrama. I exist because of you. I have this human form because of your grace. Now let me utilize it. All right. Just close your eyes for a few minutes now. Take a nice deep breath. Fill up your lungs and exhale. Let your shoulders relax. another nice deep breath, filling up the abdomen and then the upper part of your chest. And exhale. Release. And now breathe into Ra and out pain. Ra pain. Radhe. All the while taking nice deep breaths. And think maybe for just a moment, when I say the name Radha, she is so happy with you because she knows that by saying her name, Shri Krishna feels the thrill of her love. Krishna loves to hear the name Radha. He himself, the Lord of all, he continuously takes the name Radha. And when he hears a jeev, an individual soul, taking her name, Radha knows that this makes Krishna happy. And Krishna knows that if she is happy because Krishna is happy through the name Radha, why Krishna and Radha both become happy. Breathing in Ra and out pain. Radha. Radha. And then as you hear the flute of Sri Krishna, you look towards where the sound of the flute is coming. It's coming from the forests of Vrindavan in the divine bush. And you, the sweet-faced 16-year-old gopi with your cheeks flushed with happiness, your eyes bright and alive, when you hear the sound of Krishna's flute, you recognize immediately, oh, he's calling Radha with his flute. Oh, my divine Krishna is coming. And so you are gazing with love towards the forest floor, knowing as the sound gets louder, he will appear any moment. And there he is. There he is. His bluest complexion form, his long jet black curly hair falling on his shoulders, his picamba wrapped around his waist, a garland of wild flowers swinging on his chest from his neck, his red bimbo-like lips blowing into the flute, but his eyes, he pauses on playing the flute and smiles towards you. And he beckons, come, my child, come. You move quickly towards Sri Krishna. Now his flute is tucked into his picamba, his arms are spread wide, as you run into his embrace. And Sri Krishna, whilst holding you close to his chest, he whispers in your ear, "Oh, my beloved, you have come to me at last." And such a sweet embrace that you feel. Eventually, to disengage from Sri Krishna, take a couple of steps back and drink in this beauty. And again, he raises the flute to his lips, and he begins calling Radha, Radha, Radha. And you feel there is movement from the left corner of your eye, and you look to your left. And emerging from that forest is Radha and her 8 Mahasons. Krishna is now looking towards Radha, and she to him. And you move with Krishna as he goes towards Shri Radha. What happens next is up to you. What happens next? So in this way, we will sing the Padre Krishna. Or something else. But as this chant goes on, you see the scene. Don't disengage your mind and your devotional feelings. In the form of a gopi, join the other gopis and experience the meaning of Radha Krishna being together. I don't know what you say.
Oh KIJIYE.
So we'll conclude by doing Aarti to Radha Krishna and then Shri Maharaj Ji. And once again, it's really important that the connection is made. That you visualize Radha Krishna either seated before you, standing before you. You can politely let us do if you wish. You can stand and do Aarti, but the main thing is that they belong to you and you belong to them. And this is the sentiment that needs to go through this Aarti. And when it comes to Shri Maharaj Ji, without the Guru, without the Guru, we cannot proceed another step on this path. So we pay homage to him in our loving, grateful way. So we just do these two artists now, and that will be
श्री कृपालु महाप्रभु की जय। जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे।
हमारे प्यारे प्यारे श्री महाराज जी
की जय, जय की जय।
Once again, I just want to remind who have come late today that tomorrow we will have the program in Life Worth Living. That will be the topic for tomorrow's discourse. So tomorrow the venue is different. That is Sindhu House. The address is here. I mean, if you want to take a screenshot, or we have already broadcasted in the WhatsApp group as well. So that will be from 7 to 8:30 tomorrow. That is Saturday evening. Yeah. And Sunday again we will have the mesmerizing Roopdhyan session which we had today. If you want to experience it again, then Sunday that will be 10:30 to 12:30 afternoon. That will be the regular Sunday session. So that this time we will get the privilege to have with Swamiji again. That is on Sunday. Thank you. Now we will come forward and take prashad from Swamiji.
Just so you know, we have cashews from the hand of Jagadguru and of course devotees. So come and have some genuine delivered, hand-delivered prashad.
Yes.
And a banana to wash it down with, which is, I believe, a local one.
Very much so.
So
I got off it.
come.
कीर्तन करें, कीर्तन करें, बाद में सब चले जाएंगे। आगे तो दिखा है, अब जिस दिन आए उस दिन हमारे को आगे को पूछ लेना चाहिए कब है बात करनी पीछे से वो आया था बड़ा अच्छा डांस किया मोहन ने डांस किया बिल्कुल केक भी था। आपने दिया गुरु पूर्णिमा। हाँ गुरु पूर्णिमा।
ओके ओके
मैं था विजय भैया थे तो कन्हैया भैया उसके पास है पहली बार देखा कोई चला राधे राधे सब ठीक है।